Siddharth, how would you explain the fact that nominal GDP growth is seen at 8%, which is well over 200 basis points lower than what was assumed in the budget? What kind of implications does this have?
Well, again, as I said, that this is something very unusual for India, that the gap between real and nominal GDP being that narrow. Having said that, it is not that unexpected or shocking in this particular year, because we have seen for a significantly long period of time that several inflation parameters had been consistently very, very low. So it's not shocking. Having said that, what you asked is possibly of particular relevance. That what does it mean? How exactly some of the numbers will be panning out? I think wherever we are talking about some of the nominal variables, for example, when we measure the first example any economist will be giving you, that it possibly adds a little additional challenge in the hands of the government, how exactly they manage their gross fiscal deficit ratio when the denominator, which is nominal GDP, is relatively lower compared to what they had expected or anticipated in the beginning of the year. Some of these areas need to be seen. This should be having some implication for banks' credit growth and deposit growth numbers. This will have possibly some implication of profitability and earnings growth in certain companies. But overall, it's possibly the momentum of inflation had been surprisingly lower, but generally high growth and low inflation is what in a country like ours we aspire for. So we should not be too unhappy also with this particular outcome.
Okay. Saugata, now that this number has been released, the question would therefore be, what kind of assumption do you feel in your personal capacity the government is going to make for the level of growth nominally as far as the next fiscal year is concerned?
So again, I'm talking in my own personal capacity. So we know some of the forecasts of inflation, particularly CPI inflation, for the first half of next year. It's beginning to touch 4%, and it will climb up even more after that, because a very low CPI inflation number, 0.6 for Q3. So it's going to move up significantly above that. So I think even WPI, I think the costs of some of global commodities, local commodities, etc., are beginning to move up. Some metals prices, copper, nickel, some of these prices are going up. Oil will remain relatively moderate, I'm completely certain. So given these, we definitely should expect nominal, well, the WPI and the CPI combination, which leads to the nominal growth, should climb up from the 0.6% that is being estimated for FY26. I'm sure it will normalize to at least, near about the 9.5% to 10% that we have seen in more usual normal periods as we go on into FY27. So I don't know what numbers will be assumed in the budget, but my own sense is GDP deflator will probably normalize close to that 200 basis points, 2% over and above the real GDP.
If you like the video, do like, comment, share and subscribe.